Yeah, so we are going to look at how to design a 3D coffee cup using Illustrator. Many people will say, oh, can you actually use Illustrator to design a 3D coffee cup? I thought you have to use tools like Blender, 3D Max, Autodesk Maya, and so on and so forth, full Cinema 4D. Yes, you can use Illustrator to do that. And today I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so I've opened a new document and I have a picture here in FreePix, which I like, and is in JPEG picture. I want to copy it into my Adobe Illustrator. So I'm going to click on copy and I'll come to Illustrator and paste it here. And I'm going to I'm going to hold my shift and increase the diagonals. Yeah. We're not going to, I just want to use this as an example of what we're going to do, right? Okay, so let's keep that in mind, and let's create another layer and lock this guy. So we're going to be using this layer to do our mockup. So we're going to select a stroke that is light gray, but let's use dark black for now. And then when we're done, we can now use light gray, right? All right, so let's go to fill, no fill, and then I'll go to my pen tool, turn off my caps, control plus to zoom, and I'm going to do this here. So I'm just going to plot these areas using my pen tool, right? No need of giving too much details to it. I can review when I'm done, right? So I'm not going to give too much details to this guy. And there's a curve here. Okay, let me just do like this and come here, and then the long one will be here, and then let me give it more space. I'm gonna stop. Let me give it extra space. So in other words, this guy might be a bit longer. So I'm going to stop here. Let me control minus. I'm going to stop here. So I believe that's the center. Okay. So we now have this stroke here. And I am going to swap the stroke to the fill, right? And give the fill a lighter shade of gray. Yeah, something light like this is fine. Or let me give it let me leave it like this, or rather let me use my I found that this art and illustration swatches is more brighter than the default swatch, so I'm going to use this guy here. Yeah, so it's fine by me like this. I'm going to keep this guy here because I'm going to use him later. Okay, so let's zoom in to see what we have done. Right now, I'm going to go to effects and 3D material. I'm going to go to 3D classic and I'm going to go to revolve classic. So this is the classic for previous versions. Now we have a newer version of 3D. Yeah, so I'm going to use this 3D classic and revolve, and then yeah, so instead of using front off axis, I'm going to use front, right? And instead of using front, I'm going to use right edge. So because it's the left edge, it's going to create it to on the left axis, but I'm going to shift it to the right, so it's going to move to the right. Yes. So everything is 0 here. As you can see, is all in 3D, right? It's all in 3D. So I'm going to give it 0 again. I'm going to tilt it a bit so we can see the top of the coffee. Yes. And then, yeah, I'll still come back to this guy. But meanwhile, let me just click on OK. You get what I mean? So I just clicked on OK. I can even expand this guy to fill the space. Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to work on these curves. They are a little bit sharp, right? So we want to make it curved. So we're going to increase this guy here. So you can see this is to make the corners rounded. So we want to make the corners rounded. We just drag it here. Drag it here. Click on drag. I think that's okay here. Now for this guy to make it round. For this guy to make it round. Okay, so and then for this, we want to add a bit of depth to the top of the coffee. So I'm going to use my add anchor points, and create this anchor, and this anchor, right? And go back to my direct selection tool. And I'm going to move this guy here. Yeah. So let's take this guy a bit and take this guy a bit so it has more space. And this guy, let's take him 5 bits. Okay. So now you see that circular depth on top, right? Now let's go to the base and see. See, it's looking more rounded and everything looks more like the lid of the core of the cup. And we can even decide to push this guy further. Yeah, good. And then let's go to the base of this. We can make here, can add more, give it a bit of circular depth. All right, so we just come here, create another anchor, create another anchor, and create another anchor, and then use my direct selection tool. Let's move him up and see how it's going to be. Okay, let's move him down. So you see, give him a kind of circle. Let's push this guy here and push this guy here. And push this guy here a bit. Yeah. It's too much. Let us. Okay. So we gave him a kind of base under, right? Okay. So we now have this. Now let's go back to our 3D revolve and let's see if we can add more steps and shadings. So we just go to more shading. The blending steps is 25. Depending on your RAM, you can still increase this. Let's make it 40. So it becomes more plastic and all those steps are reduced. And let's come here and add more colors to this guy. I'll add another color. Let's see how it goes. Okay. Okay, I think it's too bright. Let's reduce a bit the ambient light and the light intensity. Yeah, and then let's move this guy. Let me delete some of these points here. So we just have 3, right? Let me push this guy down a bit. See, okay, push this guy here a bit. Push him here a bit. Push this guy here a bit. Okay, so move selected. Okay, let's move this guy. So the bit of the, yeah, better now. Better. What about this guy for moving? No, let's move him forward. Okay, so we have a smooth gradient here. Let's reduce the light intensity or the ambient light of this guy. No, I think it's too dark. It's coming too dark. Let's take this one and reduce a bit. Okay, so I think we are good with this guy, and then we'll click on OK. Now we now want to make the cover. We want to bring the cover out of this entire image design. So we're going to click on this. We're going to go back to our direct selection tool, and we're going to use our scissors tool to tap on this anchor point. Right. So what we have done is we have separated the cover from the body. Okay, now for this cover, I'll go to Ctrl X and click. Let me go back, Ctrl X and click. Now, also note that there is something at the back. So we are going to turn off the view so we can see what we are doing exactly. So we'll go to the cover and Ctrl X, right? So right now we can now see that they are different. Now let's press Ctrl F to bring forward. So now it's forward. So we can now see that the cover is different from the body of this guy. And some people might decide to open up the cover a bit and so on. But that's after you have expanded it, then it becomes a vector shape. So right now we're just doing, everything is still in the 3D mode. So we're not going to rotate it. So now we now have the cover and we now have everything. So let's go back to our swatches. Okay, I think I've opened it here before, and let's give the cover a coffee shape, maybe a dark brown shape here. Very good. I like it. And then for this body, we'll give him a lighter version. Let's go to colors, HSB, that's hue, saturation, and brightness, and increase it a bit so it becomes very light. Cool. So that is what we have here. Let's reduce so we can see what we're doing. So it's looking pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, so let's create our label. We want to create a label, and the label, we're going to put our design there. We're going to give the label, let's give it a white color, right? And I have a label already. So let me just save this design I'm doing. I'll call it Coffee 3D Mockup. And then I'll save. Okay, so this is the thumbnail that I was showing you. I'm going to close this guy here. So I am going to open our label. I'll just go back, go to where I saved it. I'll just go to File and then Open, and then go to my coffee label design. This is it. Now click on it, and these are the designs that I have done, that I downloaded so far. FreePix is your best place to get some of these things, unless you want to go ahead and design it for a client. All right, so I am going to use, let me use this guy here, or let me use this guy, looking cool. Control C, I'm coming here and I'm going to paste it here. I think something is missing from our copy. It didn't copy something. So let's hover around to select everything and Control X. Let's see what is missing. All right, so this is what is missing here. Peradventure it was locked. So let's go to the layers and see. Yeah, it was locked. So let's highlight everything again and group, and then Control C, go to our design and paste. So everything comes up here, right? So I'm going to go outside of our space so we see our white background, and so we can play with this guy. Control plus, increase this guy a bit. Yeah, so take this rectangle, make it smaller, and I'm going to use my align tool. I'll go to my align tool and I'll go to not align keyboard this time, align to selection, this and this. So it's now aligned properly. So I might even do the align again because I'm still going to reduce it more. I'm going to select this again, select this guy again, horizontal align center and vertical align center. Now it's at the center of this. I think it's okay. I wanted to do something else. Let me reduce it more and then centralize it more. Okay, so we have something like this. So let's group all this guy here. So what we want to do now is to give this coffee cup a label, right? We want to give him a label. We'll go to our symbols and we drag this guy into the symbol, and then we'll give him coffee label. Maybe if it's the name of your client or the name of the brand, you can type it here. Here I'm just using a random text. So instead of movie clip, we'll go to graphics and then static, and center is okay, and then you just click on OK. So it is now a symbol, right? It is now a symbol. Now let's go ahead and zoom out and see what we have done. So we now want to bring in this into this guy. We go to our 3D revolve, we click on it from our appearance, and then we go to map art. We click on map art right here, and we now, this one of 14 is the one that has been selected. This one that is showing a lot of outlines, right, is the one that is selected. So we just move forward and look for, because we want to put it on the body. So we keep on going until we go to the body of the, oh, I just remembered it was, let me close this guy. I just remember that it was this cover that is still selected. That is why. So let's click on this body and then let's go to 3D revolve and then map art. So we can now see it is 1 of 7. The cover was 1 of 14. So let's go to this guy. Yeah, you can see now that the base is selected and this is the body. So it's this body we want to select, right? Okay, so we just, that's 7 of 7. We go to this guy and now look for our coffee label. Don't you see it is here? That is the coffee label we just saved. And we just click on it. And now you see it comes up here. And then you only just to align it, right? I think let's move it. It's becoming oblong because it's coming at the base. So let's shift it up. So it spreads itself. Yeah, looking good. Now we're going to use shade artwork. So when you click on shade artwork, it takes the gradient of the body. So we're going to click on shade artwork. And see, it has taken the gradient of the body, and then we just click on OK and OK. And then hence that is it. Cool, looking very cool. So let's give this base a shadow. We create go to our circle and create a shadow, and then we give it, let's go to our art and this guy and give him, go to black, right? Go to something that is dark, and then we just take him below this guy. How do we know he's below? When it's behind this design. So we just Control X and then Control B to send to the back, right? So since it's the shadow, we want to give it a kind of reflection. And then we go to effects, and then we go to blur. We want to give him a blur. We want to blur him out to make it look like a shadow. And then we go to Gaussian blur. Preview is on. We can move it a bit. Okay, so we can now reduce the opacity. All right. So we now have this guy. Now we just want to expand this guy. So this is still the 3D. So let's select everything here, and we're going to create a copy using our Alt key. We drag him out to create a copy. And on this copy, this is the copy we are going to expand the appearance. Right? So we have expanded the appearance. You can do it again if you're not sure that it has expanded. So right now, the appearance has been expanded. So you can decide to move the cup out. As I said, you can decide to rotate him in case you want to do an advert that is rotation. Okay, let's rotate him to the other side, to the left. And then you can have this here. You can even design something that the coffee is splashing out of the inside. So that is how to go about this 3D. This is Adobe Illustrator, and I thank you for watching. If you want to watch more videos about mockup, please subscribe to my channel. Please turn on your notification and you'll get more videos. Bye everyone. See you guys in the next class.